Hey, you know, there's a saying, it is the condition of our hearts reflects who we are on the inside. Our hearts are said to be wellsprings of life by which we are known. Now, if that's true, what we store in our hearts really matters and should be guarded. In fact, Proverbs 4:23 says almost those exact words. It says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for it is a wellspring of life." Now, I recently lost my brother about a month ago, and I've been thinking about the good times that we had growing up, and particularly when we were in Montana. We really had the best of two worlds. To the east of us lay the open fields and wheat fields, and where the antelope truly ran free. And to the west of us was the majestic mountain range, the Rocky Mountain Range, with all its beauty and snow caps. And particularly that flowed out of the mountains was Belt Creek. It was a beautiful place, clean, clear water. You could drink out of it. You could see the fish swimming upstream. You know, and some distance away, in contrast, in northwestern Wyoming, is Yellowstone National Park. It's known for a different characteristic. It is mucky to some degree and has hot springs and geysers all over the place. In fact, over 3,000 of them. And the landscape has been disfigured by the mineral waters and the sulfur smell that you get from those places. It's really a beautiful place, but it's also a very deadly place. In fact, some of those hot springs can reach 350 degrees Celsius or 700 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, the park rangers warn you to stay on the walkways. Be safe. If you fell into one of these hot springs, it would undoubtedly kill you. Now, the contrast is obvious, isn't it, between Belt Creek and the geysers and the hot springs of Yellowstone? One is safe to humans and there to enjoy. The other one is there to enjoy, to look at, but is very harmful and deadly. The contrast is obvious. But you know, they both have something in common. They both have a continual source of supply. That's right. Belt Creek is supplied by the melting snows from the upper elevation of the mountains, whereas the hot geysers and the hot springs in Yellowstone, they're fed by underground chambers of boiling lava and high temperatures. They have both a source of continual supply. You know, it's similar to us as humans. If we look at our heart as being a wellspring of life, we have to look at what is our continual source of supply too. Like Belt Creek is clean and fresh and healthy. The hot springs have mineral deposits and boiling temperatures. We humans have also a source of supply that reflects either light or darkness, life or death. So where does this source come from? And how do we keep our hearts from being polluted? Well, let's get something straight right from the beginning. We have to establish that what's in the heart matters. If you don't think what's in the heart matters, then, well, this conversation is kind of mute, isn't it? What's in the heart? You know, when the Bible uses the word heart, it's referring to our identity, our true identity, our attitudes, our philosophies, our priorities. What causes our actions and behaviors comes out of our hearts. Now, prior to regeneration, our heart's condition is very bleak. Regeneration, that may be a word that's new to you. That's used in the New Testament, and it refers to new life or being born again, a regenerated heart, a changed heart. Before that happens, as Jeremiah tells us in 17:9, it says, "The heart is deceitful above all things, and beyond cure." So number one, the heart has to be changed for it to reflect a source of goodness. You know, that's what Jesus refers to as being born again. Secondly, what's in the heart will eventually find its way out. That's true. You cannot camouflage your true identity. It is eventually going to come out through your words. You know, I told people here at the church for many years, if you really want to know the condition of a person's heart, listen to their vocabulary. Listen to what they talk about and what is important to them. You know, I'm ashamed to say that when I was a young man, a young guy, played a lot of sports, and baseball was one of my favorite in organized sports. But I have to tell you, I've been ejected a number of times for foul language. That's what was in my heart at the time. You know, batting was not my high ability in baseball. I was a center fielder, and probably because I was fast and could throw it at a distance. But I remember a couple of occasions being at the plate and disagreeing with the umpire and saying something that was profane, and he'd turn around and eject me. You know, that's something to look at. And it did change for me when my heart changed. When the Lord changed my heart, my vocabulary changed. The things that came out of my mouth were totally different. You can't camouflage who you are. You know, Jesus said in Matthew chapter 15, verse 11, he said, it's not what a man eats that defiles the man, but the words that proceed up out of his heart. For out of his heart proceed all evil, manner of evil speakings. In Luke chapter 6, verse 45, Jesus said, the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. And one of my favorite one is in Mark chapter 12, verse 34. This is right after Jesus calls the Pharisees a brood of vipers. He says to them, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you see, it's true. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is a wellspring of life. I guess the challenge for you today is to examine your heart. See what's in there. Listen to your own vocabulary. And maybe you need a heart change. Maybe you need a heart that reflects life and light and not darkness. Well, that's the truth for today. God can change your heart. He wants to if you let him. If you let him do it.